Well, hello there, and welcome to episode 300 of the Heed Army podcast. Mickey, they said it couldn't be done. They said it shouldn't be done, and we ignored them and kept going.
Yeah, we have. If no else, we're stubborn.
We certainly are, but a big thank you to everyone joining us. We've got some good interviews coming up. I hope they are. We haven't had them yet, but we're going to have Bernard McWilliams is going to join us, Gateshead vice chairman, of course, and he's going to let us know all about the goings on with the league, because it changes day by day with the vote. And there was an announcement before we came on air, and no doubt we'll be talking about that. Also, as well, we're going to be joined by Gateshead legend James Curtis, just to have a bit of a natter with him, see how he's doing. And then we're going to have former co-host, hopefully we'll entice him back. Andrew McInnis is going to come on and join us. And then we're going to be joined by Gateshead fan and ladies footballer at the highest level with Hibernian, Charlotte Potts, who informed me that she cannot remember the last time she had makeup on after 9 o'clock. So she's keeping it on tonight. And I replied to her, I can't remember the last time I had makeup on after 9 o'clock as well. So we've got a lot in common. We've got lots of video messages being sent in. We've been absolutely overwhelmed. A big thank you to everyone that's done that. And we're going to be playing out them throughout the show. Also, as well, we've got a lot of messages sent to us as well. Friend of the show, Mark Carruthers, has put congratulations on Heed Army reaching the 300th episode. Sounds like it's going to be a busy one. It certainly is, Mark. And of course, you can message us like people are doing already. Mick Scully, he's put, well done, your 300 show. Here's to 300 more. Well, let's certainly hope so. We've got lots of messages. We'll play them out. But we're going to have Bernard join us at about 9:10. So we will get to that. But just before we do, let's play out one of the lovely messages that we've got today from, from people that listen to the show. And I think you might have instigated a few of these, but this one is Gateshead FC ladies manager Mickey Gray.
Hello fellas, I hope you're both well. I hope you're both keeping busy without any football being on. I thought I'd just send you a quick little message to congratulate you both on 300 episodes of the podcast. An absolutely unbelievable achievement, so very well done. I'd also like to thank you as well personally for allowing me to be a big part of the family and feeling part of it from day one. Keep up the good work, lads. Keep everybody talking. Keep everybody smiling like you are doing. And here's to the next 300. Well done, lads.
Well, a lovely message there from Michael. And so we've got another message as well, this time on the chat. If you want to get interactive, if you're watching on YouTube and on Facebook, just send us a message and we can bring it up on screen, as David Tron has put. And he's put, evening lads, congratulations on your 300 show. Yes, it's been very good. Amber Douglas as well. We've actually got a message from her to play out as well. And she's given us a couple of high fives, I think it is there. But yeah, it's fully interactive. That's what it's all about. And we'll want to have your thoughts and views, get them in. That's what this show is about. It is. And Mickey, there's been lots of toing and throwing between the National League and the clubs and the FA, the DCMS, and everyone that they're on about funding. We're going to have Bernard on very shortly to talk about it, but what a mess. What an absolute mess it's become.
I wish it. Am I shocked at the way they went on? Probably not. After, especially the way they went on with it last season. Honest, we wouldn't have started the season if there wasn't things in place saying that we're going to get funding in the form of grants, not loans. We got kicked out of the National League Premier Division because of the way the club was run before. The Gateshead Soul took and other parties took over. And now they're saying they want to run on loans. Is that double standards? Is that like completely contradicting yourselves?
Well, I don't want to play devil's advocate, but when they announced that the loans were going to be in place to get the team started, the COVID figures were low, the death figures were low. It was the back end of the summer. The scientists warned that there would be a peak, and it's happened. I think the FA and government and I think it's the lottery that put money in, thought that it was going to be a stopgap till the fans come in at Christmas. That didn't happen. Reading between the lines off from what we've seen as well is that the National League knew about this in mid to late November, didn't mention anything till early January, which to me is it's a bit unforgivable, really, because it's put clubs in a really hard place. So, we just have to see what happens. Me personally, I want to safeguard the league. I want to safeguard every club, but I do fear that right throughout the non-league pyramid, we are going to see casualties in the next few months. We've seen a few last year, but this has been a harder year, and I'm worried that we're going to lose more teams.
Exactly. You can't, if you're not getting fans in. I mean, well, we haven't got a clubhouse, but other clubs have got clubhouses. Then they can't get anybody across the doors into clubhouses, and we can't, and other clubs can't get fans in. Where's the income coming from? How the hell do they expect to pay for testing and things like that? Yes, you've got so much disposable income, Davey.
Yeah, well, we have seen a lot of clubs have bound together, especially in the National League North, and I believe that Neil Pinkerton's been very instrumental in getting everyone together and on the same page. A lot of clubs like Southport have joined in with the Northeast clubs. Of course, all the Northeast non-league clubs have agreed that really, if there's no funding, you can't go forward with the season, which I think makes complete sense. But as I say, we've got Bernard coming on very shortly, and we'll be able to probably give us a better stance on where everything is at the moment. But we've got lots of messages coming here. Sam Peltonsbook, congratulations on your 300 show. Hope everyone is staying safe and well. We hope you are as well, Sam. Yeah, John Thornton, evening, folks. Looking forward to what's looking forward to what's to come tonight. Well, yeah, I am as well, because it's not often. Well, I think it's the first time I've ever drank on the podcast. I'm having a celebratory can. Bud Light. We're not sponsored, but if they'd like to, I would gladly take the money.
What's that drinking? Asda sparkling blueberry and raspberry flavoured water. So if they want to sponsor me as well.
Yeah, David Ray, he's put, all right, lads, looking forward to tonight. Well done. We've actually got a message from him as well to put out, and we'll be putting up messages throughout the show, as you'll see along the bottom. If we don't read them out, don't worry, but we are going to get them all shown, as we have there from Luke Heed FC. So keep doing that. Remember, share the show. That's what it's all about. We want everyone to be really, talking about Gateshead. But one thing, obviously, it does look like we don't know at the moment, but it's starting to look like there will be no games coming up, and we are going to continue the podcast now. What we broadcast on here, this service is going to be updated by the service that we, the service provider. They're going to be able to let us play longer videos and stuff. So we're going to maybe do like a watch along with some old matches and get some of the old players on, hopefully talk to them, have a bit of banter. So we're going to keep it going, keep talking about Gateshead, and I'm sure the foundation and the club themselves will be still putting out things as it goes along. And James Rushmore, he's sent one there. Congratulations on your 300 show, guys. Hope you're both keeping safe and well. Well, we certainly are.
Yeah, I'm trying, James.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of messages on Twitter today as well. I've got a few of them. I did put up the Mark Crower's one before there. Gated Soul put up congratulations, the Hedon podcast reaching their 300th show. This was a nice one from Dom Skur. Congratulations on reaching our 300th show. Great to see such commitment, dedication, support Gated FC over the years, and regularly getting fans, players, and staff involved with unrivaled podcast content, and been a great help with, I can't read it there, I think great help with the commentary as well, it says there at the bottom. So big thank you to Dom. He's a lovely lad, and we always wish him best anything that he's doing. So yeah, let's take that off 1 second, and we do have another message to put out. And this one is quite a lovely one. So we're going to put this one on now. And we weren't expecting to have these messages. And a few people obliged when we put up, just saying, because we received some, if you'd like to do it as well. But this one's a nice one. And we thank you very much for interacting and listening to the show and taking the time to do this.
Congratulations, Dave and Mikey, on your 300th podcast. It's nearly as old as your combined age, isn't it? Hero!
Cheeky gets.
I know. And Mickey, your name's Mikey now.
Mikey. Oh, they're in trouble there, David Ray. Problems.
What can you do?
Lovely, another lovely message. It's nice.
It
Thank you
certainly
very
is.
much.
Well, we've got Bernard just waiting in the green room. Just before we bring him in, we'll say a quick thank you to our sponsors, and then we'll speak to Bernard. Hello there, Bernard. How are you doing?
Not too bad, chaps. How are you?
Hello, Bernard.
Nice to
Oh,
see
all
you.
a bit of a you.
Well done, Davey, for 300. That's quite an achievement.
Yeah, we're fair.
300
Snuck up.
short.
Certainly did. Well, Bernard, say you messaged me last week when everything started the ball started rolling with votes with the National League, and you offered to offer some clarity on what's going on. I would imagine that the water's still quite as mud at the moment, is it? Or as clear?
Clarity at that. It gets muddier day by day. Strange situation that we're in. It's. I can understand to some extent where we are, why we are, and a lot of this is down to the National League. We're very new at what we're doing in dealing with them. The initial dealing that myself and Neil had was when we took the club over, and the way they dealt with things there, you didn't think things were really run that way, and you could say exactly how they are now. We've had several meetings in the last week with other club chairman and vice chairman, and we've heard from board members who are from different clubs who state quite categorically they were under the understanding that the support that would come because of no fans would be by way of grants. This, as you mentioned before, was made clear by the government that grants were never on the table for the second wave. And I think the situation was whoever at the time who works within the National League, not the board members, decided to keep that to themselves, probably on the hope that come December, January, fans will start to get back, but that was never going to be the case. So that's where we're at. We've had meetings with Sport England to explain the principle of applying for support. They'll decide whether or not you can afford a loan and whether or not you're viable enough to get a grant. That could take 4 to 6 weeks. It just basically, in some clubs, it's crunch time now, let alone in 4 to 6 weeks. Even saying that they'll help those clubs quickly, it's still going to be 2 to 4 weeks before they get assistance. It's an absolute nightmare. And then to throw the resolutions at 8 o'clock on a Monday night.
Yeah. Has there been any clarity on, say, if you're judged to be eligible for a loan and they say that's the way you've got to go forward, and say if the vote goes that the league does continue and say ourselves or another club doesn't want to take the loan, where do we stand on that? Are we demoted? Are we deducted points? Are we...
No idea.
No idea.
No idea. No, there have been, they obviously put a statement out today, which I know you mentioned. Neil's been working his socks off, dealing across as many clubs within the north and south to try and get word to understand the situation and to hopefully be in the, show some unity. Doesn't matter which way you vote. The whole simple fact is, come Saturday, there's some teams are on the verge of not having the money to pay wages. We know what that was like through previous owners. We know the situation that people's jobs are on the line, how to do that. The situation that on some clubs they cannot manage. One thing I'm glad is most of the clubs that we spoke to support the point that whether you play or not, if you can't play, that you get support, and the National League doesn't put any sanctions out to those teams.
Yeah.
And that we'll stand together on that. There's 28 days to make this vote. Why does it take 28 days to make a vote? Granted, it'll hit its final point once they hit enough of the percentage of the vote to go one way or the other. But why 28? Why not a week? This is something that should have been done in November when they knew about it. Indeed, Sport England, who presented the principles about it, said this was open from the middle of December.
Yeah.
This application process was open to her from the middle of December. Why is it takes till the end of January for the National League to tell her about it? It's an absolute shambles.
Yeah, it's scary because obviously I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I fear clubs obviously are fought a little bit lower down the pyramid, but obviously at this level as well, people are working hand to mouth at the moment, and if clubs kind of continue, the league really has to be held accountable for this.
Well, to me, that's the only people who are at fault here. As much as it pains us to say, I don't blame the government. People know my political position. I don't blame the government one bit. The government, from what I can see, were clear. What we are asking is to actually see the minutes of the meeting between the National League, the FA and the government to actually show how at fault they are. One thing I would also like to say is that the new chief exec at the moment, the interim chief exec, Mark Ives, from what I've heard, and certainly from what I've heard from Neil, is doing his damnedest to try and support and try and maintain the integrity of the league. So, he's inherited this situation. So I'm not going to point the finger at him. By the sounds of it, he's doing his best to do what he can to keep the league ticking, to keep it going and support clubs.
Well, I managed to skim through the statement that was put out earlier this evening. My understanding is that are we possibly in the chance of playing a game in the next fortnight while this resolution's on, or do we have the option of not playing the game?
Our next game planned is a week on Saturday. If our memory serves us right, is away at the Field.
Yeah.
We will do our damnedest. If the league goes on, we will do what we need to do to continue. In terms of the position of the club, the other shareholders involved, who put a hell of a lot more money in than fans, are keen to see their investment continue if they can. The only point we have is the safety of our players and staff. We've worked hard, working in a COVID-safe protocol, as you've seen on match days. What we do, what we have to do to mitigate any risks. But you're putting a group of lads together on a bus to go to the Field. The testing situation comes into it, but then you're also at the risk of the club you're going to. There's issues we have to take into account. Things are calming down from COVID point of view, but there's still a high risk and there's still potential when you're going around the country of facing areas that have this different strain of COVID. The risk in my mind is certainly increasing.
It certainly is. I mean, if you put it on the Conservative side, 20 people from each side, from coaching staff and plus people working on the ground who will have their households who might have to mix with other people, they're working. It isn't just a case of these lads, isolating and playing. It's they go home to the families and that the wives, partners might work and they're going into another job, coming home. It's not as easy as just saying you isolate because everyone's lives are completely different. And it just feels like this has been completely ignored in the sporting world at the moment.
Yeah, it's been a difficult sort of situation. And yes, you can maintain as best a socially distant environment when people come. We can minimise access within the building, cut the numbers of players allowed per changing room. You can have all that in place, but when you then end up and you're playing in close contact sport, it's a strange thing. People go on about players celebrating when they score goals. I'd like them not to do that, but then again, it's difficult when passion's running high. Yeah. But what's the difference between that and a close tackle with somebody in the box when there's a corner going on? Yeah. You are then putting yourself in a situation where you're then, in essence, in their households, whoever they share with, and you rely on everybody else following the rules to the same extent that you do.
Just looking a little bit further forward, is there any more meetings with the league planned in the near future, or is it a wait till votes come in?
It's waiting until enough votes have come in to decide it one way or the other.
Yeah.
what we are imploring, and all the clubs who've signed a statement up to now are saying to other clubs, don't hang around, get this decided. What a travesty it'd be if a club faces the expense of, say, 3 or 4 games to then find the league is null and void. The expense of that could be avoided. We could do that quite quickly. The league could have turned around and said, right, 12 o'clock Friday, everybody gets the answers in, and we can then make a decision straight away. It's either go on or not. What we hope, what we really want, certainly myself, to see to come out of this is the powers that be sees the situation, understands where we're at, and perhaps look at the what's on offer a different way, and hopefully come up with a different scenario than what we're in at the moment. I don't see it happening, but that's what I would like to hope that the outcome is. Pressure is put out onto bear. As I see all of the comments of fans on Twitter and Facebook, and there's a lot of fans are saying, yes, it is perhaps timed out to call a halt, but there's also fans who rely on the fact of watching football for their own peace of mind, for their own mental health. And it's not the same watching a different team. It's your team. So it's very complex on saying, well, we should or we shouldn't. All we, as a group of directors and the shareholders, their priority on which way Gateshead end up with is basically the health and well-being of the employees of the club first. They've got to come first, and their safety's got to come first.
That's fantastic. Well, Bernard, thank you very much for joining us. We've got James Curtis waiting to join us on. He's in the green room, we'll call it. But Bernard, thank you very much for clearing up a lot of things.
Well, pass me best on to James. I'll tell you what, he's one of the guys who are facing this head on as well. But I just one thing about and say, just if you can see this, the fantastic T-shirts on offer. If you message Tracy or Dave, do what we can, show your support.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Well, let's get that one in.
Well, thanks, Bernard. Cheers. Well,
take care, lads, and well done. Keep it up.
Thank you. Well,
Bernard, all the best, mate.
This is our next guest coming up.
Coming when everybody's jumping. New York to San Francisco and into city disco. The wheels are still out turning and traffic lights are burning. So if you want to party, get on in Europe.
Well, I couldn't not put that in, could I, at the end there? But James, welcome back to the Heat Army podcast.
Hello, everybody. All right. That means I don't have to sing it now that you've played that.
Well,
good evening, Jamesy.
That was good, actually, apart from showing me head I missed at Wembley like 5 or 6 times at the beginning of it.
I made up for it by putting a goal.
That was the
by finding some
season,
goals.
was it?
I was going to say.
How are you keeping in these times? It's very strange, isn't it?
It is, but a bit used to it now, to be fair. Used to not going out anywhere. But I mean, it's been fine for us. I'm still working a little bit, not loads. But Rosie, my daughter's off school. Charlotte's shop, she's a hairdresser. We've got that shop that's shut down at the moment. My little boy Max has started nursery, so it's not too bad for myself. I know everyone's in different situations, but for me, obviously I've been home a bit more and things like that. So from a personal point of view, it hasn't been too bad, but I know that it is tough for a lot of people out there.
It certainly is. And
school at Jamesy.
Homeschooling, I'm class at that. Like, yeah, it's just
I can imagine
it's
the man
made.
telling you how to do that maths.
It's just made for stuff like that, man.
I'm glad there wasn't a camera watching me doing it the other day. They'd think I was sergeant screaming. But on the football side of things, you had a good return against us the other before we had the stop in the football. How are things going? Yeah.
Well, that was a decent result. That could be the last game I ever play in my life by the looks of things. But it was going well. We were doing all right. I'm enjoying my football still, so I still want to play on as long as I can at the moment. You know, be 39 in April, but I do really enjoy playing for Spenny and working as well. So I've got quite a good fit at the moment with work-wise and football-wise and family-wise. So it's just frustrating the last season how that ended, and this season how it's just been stop-start, and it's just like no good for anyone, especially myself. I need to train twice a week. We do Tuesday, Thursday night, and then we'll play Saturday. If I'm doing that, I'm all right, because at home it's hard motivating myself now to go and do bits and bobs. So if I'm training twice a week and playing on a Saturday, I'm fine. Feel as though I'm okay. But if I'm not training, which we haven't been, we haven't trained. We'll probably since the Gateshead game, we haven't had a game ourselves, and we'll probably, I would say, we've trained 3 times maybe. So it's not great. Just and we don't know what's going to happen really. I don't think it's looking good, but who knows?
I've been fortunate enough to be at the game to do the commentary, but I mean, obviously from a playing point of view, you're going to different grounds normally where you get a bit of from the terraces and stuff, and it's just eerie, isn't it? It's not the same experience.
No, I mean, it's even, I know we at our level, the crowds are not massive, but they are good crowds, and they're very vocal. It does make a difference really, and I just feel sorry for the supporters that they're not. I mean, I was still playing football, so I was quite happy, but I feel sorry for the supporters not being able to go and watch their team, whoever that may be, and it's strange for them because everyone has a routine, really, don't they? And they'll go to the game. I mean, they might go for a few pints before, and they'll do the same thing every week. And when that changes, that's when people probably start to struggle a bit. Whereas we're still playing football. Well, we were, but yeah, the supporters at our level probably come off worse really than anyone. So it's just a shame really that it's like that at the moment.
Yeah, it is. And well, see, you got a bit more Gateshead fame as if you could not handle anymore, but now you're immortalized in pin badge form.
Yes, Scott sent us a couple of them. They're good, to be fair. So I mean, what more out of life could you want than a pin badge? Yeah, there it is. So I should have put one on. I mean, when the kids grow up and understand how much that means, they might actually think that the dad's done something good.
Then they look at Wikipedia, then just say not.
I think they'll be more impressed by the Wenger bus.
I'll tell you one thing, Mags must be sick of the sight of James. Everywhere he follows you and you kind of get in.
And well, Mags, man, it was funny because when he wasn't at Spenny, we were always we had a few nights down Leeds, team nights out down there, and he was at Hartlepool at the time, but he would just always turn up. Always Spenny would do, out of nowhere. There's Magney again. And he's this before he's even signed, so it's an ongoing joke at the moment. He came every club night out, even though he wasn't actually signed for Spenny, and then he ended up signing for us as well. So, but no, Mags is class. Yeah, great lad, great player. So
you got a few former Gateshead players down there with you as well. And tell you what, to see how much Rob Ramshaw's come on, he's a hell of a player now.
Yeah, he's just worked really hard, Rob. That's what he does. off the pitch. He puts the hours in off the pitch. He's just like unbelievably fit, and he's developed as a player, like you say. So it's a really great fit for Spenny having him there. He fits into the way we play perfectly, really. And I mean, it helps that he doesn't work. Just has about 100 houses, and he's got all the time to play golf and get fit. I mean, it must be lovely, but he's definitely benefited from putting the graft in from a few years, especially his Gateshead days, which you would see had potential. And he's always been a fit lad, but he's got a few muscles and that now. He didn't used to have them, you know.
He's still as bright as a 2-watt bulb.
You just like think how he's got all these houses and that, but and he still loses head like ridiculous amounts in training. You've never seen anything like it. But
that's still as bad.
The new lads who signed for Spenny will think, what the hell's going on here in the first training session? And Rammer's kicking fences and that. He was starting to calm down a little bit. He always says he's going to change, And he had calmed down a little bit a couple of weeks before the season got interrupted. But it's a brilliant sight when Rammer loses his head, like starts calling everyone, kicking the goalposts, whapping the fence, throwing a bottle, storming the changing room. So it's good to see.
We've got a message from Luke, and he's put, James, what was your favourite moment at Gateshead?
There was a few probably, but it had to be the Wembley, even though we got beat. That was an all-round season. It's that game, getting there, playing at Wembley. That header I missed. Probably that. The other promotions that I gained, me testimonial as well, getting a testimonial, because that was a really proud day for me. And just progressing as a player really at Gateshead, like through the years, and just helping the club get promoted. And just had some great years, to be fair. Every year was a good year for me personally. But those couple were probably my standout bits.
Yeah, there was one game that come back to us. I wasn't there, but I seen the DVD of it. Was the Frickley game when we were 3-0 down at half time. That one that was a good memory. I
think was that away?
Yeah, away.
Was Tomo? Was that when Tomo scored? Was it?
I think it was. Yeah.
Maybe Sutton hit the winner.
There was one time we were down Frickley and they had that kind of wire mesh over the tunnel, didn't they?
Yeah.
And like it wasn't the best play. The estate you went through to get the ground that were like thinking, hey, well done, hey, like but
still on the mind.
I'm sure Tomo had scored one. Tomo had scored one game. I can't remember if it was that game or another one. So the crowd were right on this fence at the end of the game and like shouting, and Tomo's gone, giving it a bit back on that, and then but he didn't realise there was a bit give on the fence. So like he's put his face right up, and he's like saying, "I want to go back," and the fella just punched the fence, and it wasn't a sturdy fence. It just went and just like whacked Tom in the head, like in the face, and he was like, stumbling straight down the tunnel. We were creased us. He like thought, he can't get us.
Referee!
He was thinking, he can't get us here anyway, and then he just like put the fella just went straight through the fence, whacked him in the face.
Yeah. There's always a welcoming place, wasn't it? And Charles Wasp, I have photos of Rob and James being debagged, the shorts pulled down after scoring.
Oh, right. Well, there's probably a few of them photos kicking about. Matches and on nights out, so
only
it's not
fans.
a rare one.
And our podcast sponsors have we've got a full show out of the pin badges. So because what about the other? He's
but
no,
they were great. Really good idea and really well made. So
Ben Clark ones are coming next.
No.
Yeah.
What's that going to be? Just like a big egg or something? Is it?
Yeah.
Potato head.
But as I say,
your chickens, by the way, on your testimonial, you still got them.
Which ones?
Your chickens.
What were them again?
for your testimonial, the people with the hens, where they bought the hens.
Oh, nah, I don't know where they are.
And for your dinner.
Probably.
Just before we let you go, obviously we were talking to Bernard just before you came on. The possibility of the season being over now, and I mean, as a fan, it's a killer, but as a player, it must be heartbreaking to have it happen twice now.
Yeah, well, I know. It was, like I said, it's just strange, really. It's just it'll be. I can't see how they can just keep having these breaks with the thought of getting the season finished. I think we've only played 14 games. I'm not sure how many they did play, but when's the season going to finish? So they've extended it already till the end of May, haven't they, with the playoffs in June. It's just going to be tough to fit those games in, I think, and it is a shame, especially like at the stage of my career as well, because I want to play like as many games as possibly can, but I'm not going to play forever now. I definitely want to play next season, and hopefully I will, because I would never want to finish like on a season like it has been if it gets cancelled again. We've only played 14 games, and then I feel okay. So it's really sad. Everyone and all the teams have got players who just love playing footy, and that's why I do it still. Because I mean, it gets no easier, and fitness wise, but it's just because I love playing football. I've always been the same since my Gateshead days and before that. Still train the same way, and I love training. I love playing footy. So hopefully something gets sorted in a positive way, but whether it will, not sure. But fingers crossed.
Definitely.
Because they can't exactly do a points per game again this year with only teams. We're not even halfway through the season now, so that'll be a bit pointless.
Would you get into management, James?
I don't know whether for management, I'm not sure. I don't know whether I'm a bit. I haven't got that nasty side to us, really.
I'm sure you.
Sure you could find it. We've seen it a couple of times.
Should I say probably no one respects us to be a manager. They'll probably just see you stand up there and think, "Come on, when's he going to crack the next joke?" kind of thing. But you never know. But it wouldn't be on my mind at the moment.
Yeah. Well, James, thank you very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and I'm sorry I put the miss in at the beginning of your.
No, send us that video. I'll probably watch it before I go to bed again, man.
Yeah, I will do.
But it's going to see you as well, and I hope everyone else associated with the clubs keeping well. I had how many 11 playing years, 13 years at the club, so it's close to my heart, and I met a lot of good people there. So I hope everyone's doing well as well as can be at the time, and it's good to see a couple of familiar faces with you too. So thank you for inviting me on as well. Always a pleasure.
Well, it's great. Absolutely.
It's a pleasure to have a legend on.
It certainly is. Right. Cheers. Thank you very much, James.
Take care, James. All the best, mate.
See you later, lads. Cheers. Bye.
There we go. James Curtis there. Fantastic to hear from. We've got a couple more messages that people have sent in that we want to play out. We got this one from Alfie Bobby.
Evening, Heed Army podcast. I'd just like to say thank you and congratulations on reaching 300 shows. An epic achievement. The podcasts have been absolutely class, even though I haven't listened to all of them. Sorry for that, I'd just also like to say yesterday was 3 years ago since I've been to my first ever Heed game, and from that day on it's been an epic roller coaster, and I can't think of anything better than supporting the Heed home and away and those epic journeys. It's been epic, and let it continue when COVID has disappeared and we can all get together, and it will be class and do it all over again. say thank you again and congratulations and have a canny evening. All the best. And finally, away the Heed from the Oxford Heed fan. Or not, I mean the Hexham Heed fan now. Away the Heed.
I think Alfie forgot where it was.
I like. There's a few moments. Thank you, Alfie. Generally, it's fantastic. There was a few moments there. Andrew, hello as well.
Hello. Hey, from one legend guest to another.
Oh, I know. We've been waiting. I laugh.
Curtis was just like my warm up, wasn't he?
It was. It was. That's the way I planned it. But I like how he goes. I really enjoyed the
Kevin Webster and Lost Voice guy following up.
That's what Lauren hopes.
And that was funny. That when he goes, oh, it's from the from the Oxford Heed fan. Then he went, not. Is it the Hexham?
Message was meant nicely.
No, it's lovely, fantastic. We've got a few more of those messages. But Andrew, how are you keeping?
Not bad yourselves.
Aye, Johnny.
You're back.
I'm back.
Also, as well, the first can I've had on a podcast. We're celebrating it tonight.
Oh, I'm strictly sticking to weekends for drinking. Me like can't hack it through the week. Can't hack it.
That's probably the first drink I've had this year, to be fair. But it's the only one I'll have as well. But Andrew, it's just been an absolute mess of a season, hasn't it? Off the pitch with the league.
I think it's just a bit of an understatement. I've been reading like obviously all the statements and everything like that, and none of it makes sense. It's just nothing at all. Is kind of it could easily be something straightforward, saying right, this is one option, this is one option, this is one option, but they've made every option complicated.
Yeah,
and I don't know why they've done that.
Well, I've got a diagram here that I'll put up, and it's as clear as mud. And I mean, I'll just put it up on the screen there. Here's the different connotations of the way the resolutions could go. Ultimately, it's gone the way it's with the way it's worked is that looks like the amount of teams that have already publicly stated that they don't want to continue the season because unless there's the grants forthcoming, which I don't think they are. The way this works out in layman's terms is that it looks like the top league's going to continue and we're going to be null and void in the National League system. So it's just a mess, and it's as Bernard said earlier on, completely avoidable.
Oh, totally. But that's the thing, though. You're getting to the point now. That many games have been postponed and everything like that. When's the season going to end? And then if it does carry on to, which unfortunately, my personal opinion, I don't think it will finish. When does the next season start? Then, because it's a massive just knock-on effect. I mean, games at this level, anyways, to struggle at the best of times through the winter period. For most clubs, like
just before
weather.
Just before the break, I think there must have been a good 50% of the games off either due to weather or COVID, and it was just. I mean, look at poor Blythe. I mean, don't get us wrong. Kind of
poor Blythe. Shut up, man.
They had, was it three or four times they had a player pop for COVID? You know what I mean? And how can you expect to finish a season if that's going to happen to any club? Let alone one in York as well. York, I think they had 3 times.
How many times has Darlow played this season? It's next to out, have they?
Yeah,
and I don't even think it's because of Darlow. It's because the teams they've been playing.
Mm-hmm. And the cup run affected them a little bit, but it's just a disaster, an absolute disaster. But that aside, have you been watching the streams? How you finding it being an armchair supporter at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely hate it. Absolutely hate it. I mean, the stream's not being an armchair supporter. No, you do a canny job. As I say, it's next best thing that we can hope for, really. I'd rather watch football on telly than no football at all, unfortunately. But overall, everyone wants just to be back in the stadium and going to away grounds and all that. You miss the social side as well. That's the main thing that I tend to find. Like, you miss having a good laugh and everything.
Well, even
Have
just
a bit
going in.
general crap each other, can't you?
Yeah.
No, exactly. I mean, that's the main reason we go to Gateshead, not to see Gateshead play or Gateshead win. It's to have the crack.
That's just a byproduct. That don't tell me that.
Yeah.
Should not let us go.
I mean, how many times have we came away from the Gateshead match to say, "Nah, we never go for the football, anyways."
How many times has the football spoiled a good piss up?
Exactly.
Oh man. But say, Andrew, how are you digging the video podcast now? Because the last time you were on, it was just strictly audio.
Oh, it was a crappy little computer screen and no camera. So I remember one time you'd done a camera. It must have been like a 1980s webcam.
Oh, it was awful.
Focused in on a woolly hat. But it's nice to see though, Dave. You kept one thing from the original podcast. You still can't read out tweets.
No, I can't read out.
That's why we need you back in Twitter corner.
We put down now and just say, I used to get rid of this dyslexia. It's a choice, not a.
I'm surprised there's not any swearing anywhere on here for me. Like,
Oh,
no, David Kenny hasn't been on for a while.
David, can you remember that was unbelievable? Right?
That was class, absolute class. He went for absolutely ages with no swearing on. Then David Kenny, the most polite man you'll ever meet, comes on and F's and Jeffs.
Oh, he well, it's hard. Yeah. We've got a message. Nice to see Andrew back. It's about time a bit of class came on back on the show.
Aye. The Wardley posse sticking together.
Aye. You could probably just shout him out his window and give him some class.
Right there.
Oh man. Well, I mean,
I
obviously,
would be able to stop putting my V's up in his general direction.
I was just walking under the curtains open after I've been in the back. Obviously, you've been watching the football over the streams, and which players have impressed you that have come in so far this season, or is anyone that stood out that's maybe progressed since you've last watched the live game?
Do you know what it is? There's a couple of players that I think have come on leaps and bounds. It's hard because we lost the likes of Barrow and players like that, and you think we're gonna struggle, but I don't know. He had a bit of a funny start, but George Smith has been kind of. I think George Smith's the type of player as well. I liked him in his first time round, and he had a bit of an on-off start with us this season. And then the more games he's played, like kind of more he's kind of progressed. But no, I think, as I say, it wasn't just George Smith at the start of the season. If you think it's all the players, I think it just took quite a while to gel, and eventually we have. I mean, we've still had blips a few times throughout the season. Don't get us wrong. Like sometimes watching it, it's like, how am I? Just basic stuff, but it's getting there, and it's because it's a young side, it's a young squad,
and the start-stop nature of the league, with obviously it hasn't helped anybody at all. Really,
no, definitely not.
It certainly has. But I'd say if you do want to send any messages in, we've got lots of them there. We've got just got one or two more messages that we got sent. Mickey Gray, he sent another message. We'll put this one up there. He's looking forward to hearing the views of Charlotte Potts. That's coming on later on as well. And well, just while we've got you on, Andrew, I was going to ask you about. 1 second, just scratching my hand. I was going to ask you about how you feel.
You sure it was your hand?
Yeah, definitely my hand. Definitely my hand. I'm underneath the table, aren't I? It's for a different podcast.
Was you?
You
get cream for that, you know, Dave. Don't get past it on the hand, yeah, ready?
Oh no, never take the cream. Just live with the rash. Descent into chaos when Andrew comes back. I was going to say, obviously, you mentioned about not being at the games. It's hard for everyone, though, isn't it? And I'd say I must admit, last week I was really down in the dumps, especially with the perspective of, well, still the prospect of having no football. And it is just hard just not seeing people, isn't it? Because at a match day, you must be. I mean, I must say hello to 50 people, have whether it's a one sentence conversation or whatever. But we are just missing that interaction at the moment.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, it's not just like that kind of thing. I'm lucky I'm still working in the office. I'm seeing people at work, but people who are working from home, and it's as well that compared to like the first lockdown, it's like you could go in the garden and everything like that. Can't do anything like that this time. And you've got to feel for people like who live in apartment blocks and everything like that, working from home. Oh, that's like where I'm really lucky in that sense. So when, as I say, when you don't get to go to what Curtis was saying before, that you get the fans have a routine on a Saturday that they stick to, and they see the same people have a good drink and everything like that. Getting out of that routine, it's hard for someone after doing it for so many amount of years.
It's just crying shame, really, isn't it? The whole situation. It's just been an absolute nightmare. It really has. But
300 show, it's a celebration. So let's not bring it down.
Oh no, we're not bringing it down. We're not bringing it down. You've brought it up.
Here's one for you. I was thinking about this before. Can you remember the 100th show?
Yeah.
Can you remember what happened? What are you doing?
What are I doing?
What we're done for the show?
We did it from 3 tons, didn't we?
3 tons, yeah. And can you remember what happened with it?
No.
You didn't sort out the mics or anything. Didn't test the mics, so you couldn't hear a single thing. Done a full, massive, big show. Couldn't hear a single thing.
That was Billy Big Bollock, and took me mics and didn't realise that you can't use them in an open space, and had it like we could hear perfect in the headphones. Just everyone at home just doing. It's like a Ramsey concert.
What a way to celebrate a milestone show.
Also,
sums it up though, doesn't it?
Well, we give us, really, couldn't it?
We give every listener free tinnitus. See, we do give back. We do give back.
We give us, not receive us.
Oh. Certainly. Well, Andrew, it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you. We've got Charlotte Potts joining us very shortly. Hopefully, we'll get you back on the podcast soon. Hopefully,
I'm still going to be the best looking person on the podcast, am I?
Yeah, well, it wouldn't take much, really, to be fair.
I'm starting to go bald as well. That's why you're wearing a cap. You're hiding the bald spot.
Oh, no, it's because I've got proper bad hair. I'm desperate for the barbers to open again. I wanted to wear a cap just because obviously it's that much. I didn't want to embarrass Mickey.
Hey, when you go in the barbers, bring a bag full. I'll have a Mohican.
Well, on that note, we'll say goodbye, Andrew. But it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you, and hopefully we'll get you back on soon for a full episode. We'll reunite.
No bother, lads.
Okay. Cheers. Thanks,
Take
Andrew.
care, Andy. All the best, mate.
Well, there we go, Andrew. Great to have him on. I want to get through these messages before we end the show, before we get Charlotte on as well. We got this lovely message we've got a couple of lovely messages from the Gateshead FC ladies.
On behalf of the girls, I just want to say a massive well done for reaching 300 podcasts. We really appreciate everything you do, and we hope to see you soon.
And we've got this one as well.
Hello lads, just want to say massive congratulations on your 300th podcast. Keep doing what you're doing, you've done.
Oh, cut off there. Sorry, there was Amber there and Dion. So massive thank you to them. And I think there was some messages earlier on bigging up the Asda crew because she had an Asda shirt on there. So remember, you can still send in the messages. We're going to have Charlotte joining us very, very shortly. And hopefully have a good chat with her because obviously she's a Gateshead fan. You may have noticed on social media that Charlotte does share a lot of Gateshead posts and tweets. And we'll have a good chat with her. So just before we bring her on, we'll play another message from our sponsors. Remember, you share the show, and if you're listening to the audio version of this, remember you can watch us live or the rerun on any of the social media that we have for the Heed Army podcast. So when we come back, we will be speaking to Charlotte Potts. Well, there we go. Hello, Charlotte. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Too bad.
Oh, yeah, fantastic. Well, you kept your makeup on.
I was tempted to take it off.
I've scrubbed
Too
mine
late.
off.
Too late for makeup on now these days.
I've taken mine off with white wool.
It's only about
Have you
10
got
past
your
11.
Have you got yours on? Have you got yours on?
No, I took it off with wire wool.
Do you not need makeup? Do you?
I need more than bloody makeup, Charlotte.
You don't
Charlotte,
need it because you've got that lovely top on anyway.
I know.
You done that on purpose. You done that on purpose, didn't you?
Yes.
Only apologize,
So-
Charlotte. Guys, of course, Charlotte, you play for Hibernian ladies up there in Scotland, and unfortunately, your season's come to a screeching halt at the moment. Is there any sign of that coming back?
Yeah, we're in a similar situation to Gateshead, to be honest, where we're just waiting for answers. It's frustrating as a player. I mean, especially being down home and not even training as well.
Yeah, and as I say, how was the season going before it got halted?
From our point of view with Hibs, we had a difficult start of the season, but then we started to pick up momentum, and we were ready to go after Christmas, and then all of this has happened. So
Yeah.
So frustrating for you, that.
well, you've just
Are
got to adapt, really, don't you?
Are you allowed to train anywhere or not? Or you just got to train at home?
Just got to train at home.
Yeah.
Back to the park.
Can you not even train up in Scotland together?
No, we can't because we don't get tested. There's only half the teams in our league was getting tested.
Mhm.
So that's
So-
why they kind of had to make a decision and say we can't really, it's not safe to go ahead.
So what's the difference between the Scottish Premier men's and the Scottish women's? What's the difference? I presume you're full time.
It's all money, isn't it? So at the end of the day, if you've got money to get tested, then it's going to be safe to go ahead. And all of the men's clubs, they're getting tested quite safely.
Yeah. It's a bit of a shame, really, isn't it? And we've got a message for you here from David Rees. But Charlotte, how's your work with SRTRC? And what did you learn?
Show races and the red card. I absolutely love that work, to be honest. It's just like, it's promoting people to be better humans and respect each other's differences. It's taught me so much, just about being open-minded and actually having an understanding, be willing to listen to people without judging a situation beforehand. And so it's just like we try to go into schools to educate kids to not judge people.
Yeah.
And because racism it stems from judgment, really.
Yeah. It's,
like inequality and diversity, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it's a fantastic organisation. Just it's a shame that it has to exist. It's in the sad state of affairs. But I mean, it's easy for me to say, but I've never encountered it or witnessed it. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist, and not everyone's in the same mindset. And that's obviously, as you said, the thing for everyone to come away with is an open view.
And I don't think it's on purpose that people are in that mindset. I just think there's a lot of people who aren't necessarily educated on it.
Yeah.
Which is why it's such an important charity, because it's an educational based charity.
I think it's a generational thing as well, because if they've heard it from the parents and grandparents from the 70s and 80s, they don't know any different as well.
Yeah.
It's all about an education, really, isn't it?
And I think that's why you maybe find difficulty with it, because we have to challenge certain generations who aren't willing to accept that they've been taught the wrong way. But we have our successes in it.
Yeah, we've got another message. Charlotte Ray has put, "Well done, Charlotte. All the respect from us here, and a 6-year-old female footballer." I think that's Amber, the daughter, there as well. Oops, just hit the mic. That took effect.
That's amazing to see. Amazing to see so many girls getting into football now.
Certainly is. And of course, I mean, obviously, I know you follow Gateshead, but what was your thoughts when you seen Gateshead were getting their own female team?
I thought it was amazing, and half of the girls who are on that team I've actually coached as well from the college. So it's great to see that they're really pushing it in the Gateshead area. Wish it was like that when I was. Wish it was like that when I was younger.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, it's still saying. It's still saying. No, never mind Hibbies. Can you tell the Gateshead?
I'm
Maybe
sure
I'll
we can.
coach them one. Maybe I can
we'll,
help coach one day.
we'll rustle up some jammy Dodgers and a bottle of Lucasade as a sign-on fee or something like that. I'm sure we can help get you down there. But
Bottle of
you
wine
follow-
might help.
Oh well, I didn't want to.
Call it two. That's your signing on fee.
Yeah. See, have you been watching the Gateshead streams this season? Has it been strange for you watching from afar?
I've watched a couple, yeah, and it's just as a playing point of view as well. Like, it's strange not having like fans and stuff there, and like it sort of feels like training games sometimes. Not having the like, but it's good that they're getting streamed though, because I've played a couple of games where it hasn't been streamed, and it's really hard to get going then.
Yeah, I think as you say, I think the momentum is definitely affected in games because obviously you win a corner, you get the roar of the crowd. You just haven't got that at the moment. And someone, I think it was Ben Fox, who was on loan with us a few seasons ago, shared a clip of him scoring a free kick, and I was doing a commentary on it. I was giving it the big licks because the crowd was roaring as well, and trying to commentate on a goal and not try and sound too like an idiot screaming.
Enthusiastic.
Enthusiastic. You want to get it across it was a good goal or what type of goal it was. But when you haven't got the crowd behind you, you don't want to sound like a screaming banshee, and it's hard doing it that way with a crowd as well.
Yeah, it affects the way you celebrate as well. I mean, I think one of my goals, I was like sort of, where do I go? What do I do? Just fist pump, yes.
Oh, you know what it is? I forgot.
Absolutely.
One second, just we're talking about your goals and stuff. We're going to play a little bit of you in action. I forgot to put this on. I'll just quickly play this 1 second. Now, I never thought I would say this to a lady, but what a big tackle you've got on you.
You can't for
Yeah, I've got a bit of an aggressive streak, I must admit.
Yeah, some impressive tackles there. It reminded me of a former Gator player, Richard Flynn. He used to like to dive into one like that. He didn't win the ball as much as you, though.
To be fair though, I've probably calmed down on that now because I'm a little bit fitter and faster where I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
You get that aggression vibe when you were playing football in the yard with the lads. You think that's part of it, or not?
Well, yeah, I've played boys football quite a lot, so I think I used to find some of them used to be not willing to come into a tackle, so I used to have to try and encourage them to come in for a tackle.
Yeah. And obviously you're playing in Scotland now, and hopefully that'll continue. Are you contracted for next season, or are you looking further afield?
I'm on an 18-month contract, yeah, but you've always got to like just be open, don't you?
It's
open at opportunities, and at the minute I just like to take each day by day and just try to enjoy living in the present. I think that's what you get taught as an athlete quite a lot. Just live in the moment.
Well, me and Mickey we were kind of strangers to ladies football until like when the pre-season started for the ladies team. But since then, obviously, you had our eyes were opened, and you start to notice more and more. And obviously, the BBC is showing a lot more ladies football. They have done obviously World Cup, which is probably one of the more noticeable things. But it must be quite satisfying now, especially when you're playing, just to see it getting more and more recognition at that grassroots level, even on mainstream television.
Oh, it's amazing. Like, never to this day do I think I'd have to be like doing media training and stuff like that. But it's like when I want to educate the younger girls, the opportunities that can become available. So it's great to see.
Yeah, it's certainly is. And Mickey, are you got any questions there? Because I don't want to dominate.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's like my first season of watching the ladies' football, and that was only because Gateshead had started the team. But I now wish that I'd went to watch some different games because I really do enjoy the games. I was just one of the questions I was going to ask is how old were you when you first realised that you were a half decent footballer?
As soon as I started playing. Honestly, like even when I was like 4 or 5 years old playing with the boys, like it was quite evident that like I just had the natural talent then. But obviously, when you get a little bit older, I probably was a little bit cocky in the sense that I were only relied on my talent, and you finally realise it's all about hard work. You've got to put in the work as well as having that natural talent, because that's what makes a difference.
Yeah,
it's mixed for so long, isn't it? And then you have to go into a girls' team.
Yeah, I played up until I was 14, 15 when I was in school. So that was good because I really got to notice the difference, and it was a massive difference as soon as I was 13, the physicality but when you've got that, you can adapt.
Yeah. Oh, look at this big head.
When you've got the brain to adapt, then.
Yeah. I thought you was pointing at our makeup at first when you got this makeup here.
What, to distract them.
Your lippy on.
Pull the shorts up higher.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell Seb Blatter that.
Yeah. And, I see you mentioned you're a Gateshead fan. How long have you been following Gateshead?
Probably not consistently until I got back from Canada a couple of years ago. I was running a kids grassroots camp, and I actually got in touch with Scott Barrow to say if he would get me a signed shirt. And like ever since then, like I've become good friends with Scott, and I thought, watch the lads, do you know what I mean? And I enjoyed it. It's actually really entertaining. A lot more entertaining than watching bloody Newcastle on telly.
Oh God, didn't start.
I know.
I muted my mic by mistake there, but yeah, of course, it's better than watching Newcastle. But obviously, and Scott Barrow, big friend of the podcast, we haven't had a chance to really speak to him since he left, and hopefully, God forbid, if we're not playing football, hopefully he'll come on and we can have a bit chat and go down memory lane with him, because he did quite a few commentaries with us when he was injured, and he said he had found a new calling in life, and his family said he was quite good at it as well. So I was getting worried at the time.
He likes to chat, so
yeah.
I think he just likes to hear his own voice, to be honest.
That's probably why we get along.
Oh man, but Charlotte, a massive thank you for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure to talk to you, and hopefully you're back playing soon. But hopefully as well, we'll get you back on the podcast and have another chat. And especially when the ladies team get going, we'll hopefully have a lot more to talk about on the ladies football front as well.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
It's good to speak to a nice hippie.
I'm taking it you're a Hearts fan.
I'm a Gateshead and a Hearts fan, aye. But even if the season starts again, I wish you the best of luck, honest. I seriously mean that as well.
See, I struggle to get cool. I've got to take what I can get, and Mickey's what I got. But on that note,
poor bugger.
Charlotte, thank you very much, and hopefully we'll speak to you again soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Cheers,
take care, Charlotte.
There we go, Charlotte. What a lovely girl. Say good crack as well, and because she messaged me before we come on saying, "Is it video or audio?" I said, "Video." She goes, "Oh, so I've got to leave my makeup on." I was like, you don't have to, but added a little bit of class to the podcast tonight, didn't she? And if we've got
us two, Andy, Bernard,
There is. If we've missed your messages out, I'm just going through. Northern Print Solutions put the mystery of the missing chickens. Obviously, that's going back to the comment about James Curtis. He couldn't remember the chickens at his testimonial, which was probably the weirdest thing I've ever seen in the Gateshead game. Also one here from the other half. Just put congratulations to you, 300 show. Wow, well done. I know the hard work you put in behind the scenes, and to do this for the fans. Very proud of you both. That's very nice of her. She must be
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's where it is.
It's Valentine's Day.
Birthday before Valentine's Man. It's costing us a fortune. Keep seeing things. What did we put on? QVC. First time we put it on, years. End up spending £100.
What on?
Pillows and pillows, a mattress topper, and some jewellery for her as well. Dimonique, yes. So classy lads.
Well, the jewellery I can understand, but pillows.
The pillows were £40. We bought 4, right? They were 20 quid for 2, but we bought 4, right? So it's like just under 30, just under 40 with the offer. We're buying more, and they're like this thick. You kind of put like 4 on, like 2 down. You'd be like this lying in bed. So we've got 2 pillows to last us into the future when them ones are done. But yeah, so that's my little hide behind the curtain of the Heed Army podcast. And we've got like this with the curtain. Look, I can pull it back. Ooh. So there we go, behind the curtain. We can open the phone lines if anyone does want to ring us. Say if you're
I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
300 shows. What's been your best moment?
Oh, I don't know. Well, we've had some lovely guests. I mean, just before I mentioned, just a massive thank you to everyone that's ever messaged the show or been a guest. We had some big people in. We had, obviously Gary Bennett when his son was at the club. We've had lots of former Gateshead players speaking to us from across the world. Ben Ryan, Sam Kitchens come on, Paul Thompson, Curtis, Chandler. The list goes on. We've had some fantastic guests, and also as well, the chairman as well. We've had them all on, apart from the pesky Italian. But a big thank you to everyone that's come on. And a big thank you to Richard Bennett as well, because it was him that asked to do the commentary, and it reinvigorated my love for doing the podcast and broadcasting. So it's very nice. And we have a phone call here, so we'll answer this. Hello there. Welcome to the Heed Army podcast. Who's speaking?
Hello, it's Jack.
Hello there, Jack. How are you doing?
Oh, Jack the Broccoli Man.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Jack the
How are you
Broccoli.
doing, Jack?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Well,
Not too bad, mate.
Yeah, we're doing all.
Geared up for the first test tomorrow?
Yeah. Will you say that again?
Are you geared up for the first test tomorrow? Or Friday, sorry.
Yeah, I suppose wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'll do. Yeah.
Well, at least we've got something positive to talk about the cricket. At least
Yeah,
it's
at
on.
least you've got something positive. Yeah.
Let's say, Jack, if anyone that's just doesn't know who you are on the show, Jack the Brackley fan. Jack, it's just an absolute headache at the minute, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I rang to see what your thoughts are on the whole situation.
I'll go first. My personal view is I want every club to be safeguarded, to be there for the future, and not have clubs lumbered with debt. There's more important things going on at the minute. 100,000 people's died.
Yeah.
What's the world going to benefit from Gateshead playing Brackley next weekend if that was the fixture? Yes, I'd love to see it. Is it important in the scheme of things? No. And I'd rather have the chance to play Brackley next year than not, if either club had to take a loan and couldn't repay it, or it hampers budget and everything else. That's just my views. But Mickey, what's yours?
Go back to just before the playoffs. The National League Committee come forward, same shit show. That's my opinion on it. Haven't got a clue, no guidance. Maybe the new guy that's come in, Mark Ives, but it's deja vu from last time. No one's got the balls to step forward and say, right, this is what we're doing. Whether you like it or not, I don't care. No one's gone up, no one's gone down. It's pointless. We cannot give you the money. You can't afford it. Let's stop the season. End of.
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think we want every club to be safe, and
yeah.
But at the start of the season, I don't think clubs like Gateshead, Darlington, Blythe, because all them teams have struggled in the past. I know Gateshead have struggled in the past money-wise, haven't they?
Yeah.
So you lot, Darlington, all them teams were quite, because Brackley have a bit of money. I'm not going to lie to you, but we do.
Uh-huh.
But if we take on a loan, I don't think we'll be in debt as well. I think every club will be in debt. But at the start of the season, would clubs agree to start the season without grants for the whole year?
I don't think so. I don't think the league would have took place. But
I think they've vetoed it.
Yeah, I think, as I said at the beginning of the show, not trying to play devil's advocate, but obviously when the league was announced that it was going to go forward, numbers were very low. There was the hope that fans would be back in by Christmas time. Of course, that didn't pan out the way it is. And the top and bottom of it is that the National League knew that there wasn't going to be any more grants coming after November and December. And they sat quietly on that information until the middle of January and sprung it on us and said, here's a vote.
What have you got any idea what's going to happen on Saturday when the league's meant to resume? What Gateshead's plan?
I'm not sure. From what we can gauge is that Gateshead have publicly come out and said that they're not in favour of playing without grants. So that would be a vote for null and void unless there was grants. I think there's 16 clubs in the National League North. There's a lot of National League South player teams as well who are starting to publicly say that. So what
I've seen, there's 7 National League clubs, or National League North clubs want to carry on.
Mm-hmm.
And there's quite a lot in the National League South, aren't there?
Yeah.
So, anyway, what was the voting system last year? It's 4.
Yeah, I think there was only 4 clubs wanted to actually finish the season, wasn't there? I think York.
No, there's a lot more clubs.
Was there a lot more? Was there?
There's a lot more now than.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think probably because they've paid out contracts for certain players and they want to see it through. And you see, I'll play a little one with you now. Do you think if Chorley hadn't have had that big cup run, would they have been so? Obviously they're quite financially stable for the next season and a half, maybe even a little bit further forward.
No, I don't think they would. I don't think they would have.
No, I don't think they would have.
Look at the money they pulled. I don't know how much they got, but who did they play? Wigan, Wolves.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna. You would think it's got a couple of £100,000, which for a club like Chorley is going to do them very well and fantastic.
Plus they've been on TV for about twice, haven't they?
Yeah, so you would imagine, and plus the virtual ticket sales and things like that, they've done very well, and well done to them. I don't begrudge them that at all.
I won't knock them. We got them Saturday.
Yeah, but it's you look at a club like Chorley, and I'm not trying to say they're a small club or a big club. I'm just saying you look at them, and in the scheme of things, I don't think they would have personally want to do it. But then again, they've got a good side this season. They're playing well, and you can understand why. You can understand why they want to do it. I'm not knocking them for that, but I think for me, I would rather have every football club there than push it.
Yeah.
That's just my thing. I'm just, obviously I want to have the football there. I want the fans there ASAP, but just for me.
No, you don't know. Do you got the infection rates coming down quite? I would say rapidly, but they're coming down.
You would hope that we start to see the benefit of the vaccines and things like that, but we're not going to see that till May, really. And things.
I think mid-Feb, March-ish time.
Yeah. Well,
I think you're seeing cases, hospitalisation coming down, etc. You hope.
But I don't think the government would open up the floodgates again to potentially have another spike. They're going to wait. But Mick Scully, one of the listeners or viewers, should I say, I find it sad that those clubs who are financially well off aren't showing solidarity with smaller clubs and are looking after their own self-interests. And that's always going to happen. And you've got to remember, a club like York, new ground, and they went
York
all out.
York are always going to go fight to carry on the season because they're what, third, probably second. I don't know where they are.
Yeah, they're up there.
York is a club. They've got a big backing, and
yeah,
they want to get out of this league. And I don't think they are. I don't think they are going to get out of this league, but.
Yeah,
but
I mean, obviously, you asked us the question. What do you think? We'll put it back at you. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen with the vote?
We've got 28 days. Anything could change.
Yeah,
you've got a point there, Jack.
I'm expecting a few cogs to hit the wheels and see how things go.
I want to carry on Saturday. I want to go on my stepladder and watch my probably last game this year.
Yeah. It must be cold on that stepladder now.
Oh, it's freezing. It's meant to snow Saturday as well.
Yeah.
I might not brave it. I might have to buy the street. But anyway, go on to this. We've got 28 days. They could make a massive U-turn and say, look, we'll give you grants. Yeah. I don't see it.
I mean, as we spoke to Charlotte, I don't think she mentioned it in our conversation, but I was speaking to her before she came on the show and we were talking about coming on. And she made a point is that obviously it's not just a case of obviously safeguarding the clubs. There's all these players that have got contracts and bills to pay. Yes, they can be furloughed, but you know they're going to have their worries as well. And there's so much of a bigger picture here than just the fans and want to see football.
Yeah,
it's easy to forget that. And I must admit, I forgot that a couple of times during this whole thing.
You got to make sure the players are safe as well, don't you? Right, at Brackley, we haven't. In theory, we haven't played for 4 weeks because we had a COVID outbreak.
Yeah. Well,
you got to put players, officials, management, etc. kind of first as well.
You certainly have.
Yeah. I spoke to someone who's quite high up at a club in National League South, and Oxford City.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I know quite a lot from Oxford City. And apparently, don't know how true it is, the government or the FA or government or someone is going to pay if the season carries on for testing.
Well,
so I'd
be interesting if it happens. But as I say, it just depends on the.
That include us three.
It would be my luck for them to bring in that new backside test that I've seen that's happening in China at the moment. Be my luck to get that test. Yeah.
I don't know what website you got on, Davey, but I've never seen that.
Yeah. Without being too graphic, they put it up the backside and they get a better reading. So that's the international sign for backside, by the way. If anyone was
I've got to ask Jack while he's there. While you're on your ladder, are you the Brackley equivalent to DG Randy Caddick?
Oh yeah, I might as well be now, won't I?
Aye.
Yeah, that fair play to him. Fair enough. Yeah.
I better fill them in. It's a guy who went to watch England play in Sri Lanka the cricket, and they decided they cancelled it when he was flying over for the first time, and he waited 10 months, and he's stayed in Sri Lanka, and he stood on a hill watching the cricket by himself.
That's dedication for you, that like.
That is, yeah, but yeah, it's a shambles. Yeah,
it is. But there's one big positive, Jack, that's come out of this. We've made a new friend from Brackley.
Yeah, I made a new friend from Gateshead. Yeah. And hopefully next year, when fans are back in, well,
everyone run Jacks.
Yeah,
fans will be back in, and I didn't come up to Gateshead last year.
Well, hopefully we can get it up next year or vice versa and definitely try and have a pint before the game, and then
it was a long trip last year, and I went to Blythe the weekend before, and we lost. So it's gonna be I'll come back up.
no one wants to go to Blythe. No one wants to go to Blythe.
No one wants to go to Blythe. I was the only Blackby fan there.
Not even the Blythe players want to go to Blythe. But Jack, a massive thank you for ringing us. It's a pleasure to have someone ring up, especially, and I think it's been a nice way to end our 300th show.
Here's another question quickly.
Yeah.
What's your best 300? What's the best show you've done?
Yeah, Andrew asked that. We didn't actually get an answer, did we? I'd say the show when we beat Grimsby, the show after, because it was
that in the playoff?
Yeah, we beat them in the playoffs. And I
remember that.
Yeah, when we got to Wembley and we had the show the next day, and I think beforehand we were just, I don't know, cloud nine, and then we had massive listeners. I think it was one of the biggest shows that we ever did. And at the time, we didn't have the full subscription, so we could only broadcast for 45 minutes on Spreaker. So we had to stop and then start again. And I think we had something like 400 people listening on the first 45 minutes, and then it dropped off to like 200. But to have 200, we would have been buzzing with that anyway. Just nice memories like that. But as I say, it's had a few incarnations over the year. Now we're doing it as, I don't know if you've been watching. We're doing it as a video one now.
A few times.
Yeah, it's nice. It's just keep going.
On to the next 300.
Hopefully it'd be nice.
My favourite was when we're doing the trips from away, when all the different stories are coming in. We sat and just giggled all night. And about the guy who got off the bus plastered, he was supposed to be meeting the guys in Wetherspoons. And he walked ahead and he walked into Waterstones by mistake.
He walked.
That's
seen all these books.
Obviously, before all the commentaries become available, where fans, and clubs start providing their own commentaries, probably about 6 years ago, we used to do a midweek show, like another midweek show, where we would do the update show, and would have a Gateshead fan or several Gateshead fans would ring us from the game, and we'd give live updates from other scores around the league, and that was quite good. We had one fan giving us a bit of commentary on the phone, and we had a player called Finnegan at one point. And Ross was on the phone, and all he just shouted was Finnegan, 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 and he missed.
And he missed. I bet you thought he could have scored it.
Yeah,
he scored in the last minute.
He scored the last minute after that. But
we're jumping around in the studio, weren't we?
Yeah, it was good. But no, thank you. That was a great question and a great call. Lovely to hear from you again, Jack. And hopefully,
you too.
Everyone stays safe, and we'll hopefully see you next season. Or this season, you never know.
Hopefully we'll find out more what's going on soon.
Certainly hope so. Well, as I say, thank you very much, Jack, and we'll speak to you soon.
That's all right. Take care.
Cheers, bye.
All I say, Jack, is take care, mate, and hopefully we'll catch up soon.
There we go. Nice to have a call from Jack.
Much you love that.
Yeah, lovely to have Jack on the phone.
Fantastic. Yeah. He seems a nice lad. Jack,
yeah. Building bridges with podcasts. That's what we're going to start a TV show. But no, Mickey, we're at the end of the 300 show. We've run a bit longer than we thought, but nice to have the call. Yeah, we've had nice calls and lots of messages. We didn't read out your message. Apology. I'll just have a quick check to make sure that we put out all the other tweets that we got. We kind of get Twitter from where we are at the moment. Because I don't want to affect the stream. So just have a look there. I think we played that one. Yeah, I put them all up. So a big thank you to everyone that's tweeted and messaged in. And just to Mickey as well, because we have to give it a bit of time to do this. Always enjoyable. But a big thank you to everyone that's ever come on the show. It is your show, and we couldn't do it without you. There has been a few shows where we couldn't. And we ended early. And
before you get any further, you got to thank yourself, because you're the brainchild behind this, mate. You're the one who's put most of the hard graft into this, so I applaud you as well, mate. You've done a cracking job. You went from strength to strength, and I hope it keeps going and keep doing good stuff with the commentaries and all, mate.
Well, we'll just endeavour to get everybody talking. That's what we want to do. So we're going to end it there. A big thank you to our sponsors again, and everyone that has been on the show tonight. Bernard Mcwilliams, James Curtis, Andrew. Great having Andrew back on. Charlotte, and of course the call from Jack at the end, which was lovely to have. And so big thank you. What's that?
I'm worth every penny.
Oh, you're worth every. Oh, apparently she's worth every penny. My wife. So she's just putting that. Oh, your QVC. You heard the QVC mark, did you?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm worth every penny.
She's worth every penny, listeners. She's worth every penny. So there we go. But no, a massive thank you to everyone. Do share the podcast, and if you are listening to the audio version, do come and join us on this one. And if you want to be a guest, we can arrange it. And also as well, because of the success of people sending the good, the nice messages there about the 300 show. If anyone in the future before a show, when they know we're going to be on, if they want to send a video question. Yep, and we can put it up, and that would be fantastic. Just another way of growing the show. And as I say, you're part of it, be part of it. And as I say, thank you very much to everybody, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully, we've got something positive to talk about. If not, we'll fill it with anecdotes and dirty jokes.
Get in.
Yeah. Hi, everybody.
Thank you very much, everybody, for the kind messages. It's lovely to hear. Thank you very much.
Cheers. Bye.